plans to take this guarantee forward, as I'm sure my colleagues right across the country have equally done. A partnership approach is vital to ensure success, and I look forward to delivering this guarantee alongside yourselves, the constabulary, and with key partners, and of course, importantly, alongside the communities for which we serve. Thank you for coming to Cambridgeshire. It's really welcome. And may I hand over to the Right Honourable Home Secretary. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nick. Thank you to the Chief Constable, and to thank you for everything that you and your officers are doing every single day, week in, week out, to keep people in Cambridgeshire safe. Thank you too for showing some of the work this morning that Cambridgeshire neighbourhood police teams are doing, the excellent work in communities as well. And we owe all of you a huge debt of thanks for the work that you do each day, but importantly for the work, the partnership working between us, the government and policing, to support communities and to rebuild that local community confidence in tackling neighbourhood crime. Today you'll hear from the Prime Minister on how we're setting out our neighbourhood policing guarantee, because neighbourhood policing has always been really at the very heart of the British policing model, and that principle that goes right back to Robert Peel, where the police are the public are the police, policing really rooted in communities. And the truth is, in many parts of the country, that neighbourhood tradition has been lost. And under the pressure of recent years, we've lost more than 10,000 people across the country from neighbourhood teams, and the number of people who say they regularly see the police on the beat has halved, and there's a postcode lottery on whether communities are getting a proper neighbourhood team. And at the same time, we've seen across the country the big increases in things like shop theft, street theft, persistent antisocial behaviour in town centres, where criminals are able to take advantage because of local policing being cut back. And that hits right at the heart of local communities and our local economies. And so that's why, as part of the government's plan for change set out by the Prime Minister last year, we've been so determined to rebuild neighbourhood policing, and over the course of the Parliament to deliver 13,000 more neighbourhood police and PCSOs, which will be a more than 50% increase in neighbourhood policing. So to set out the new neighbourhood policing guarantee today, the named contactable officers, the additional plans for neighbourhood policing in every region, and restoring that principle of officers and PCSOs who know their local communities, work with local businesses and communities to solve problems and prevent crimes, and to target repeat offenders and gather that intelligence to convict criminals and get justice. I want to thank Rachel Bacon and the National Police Chiefs Council and police chiefs across the country for working with us to build this neighbourhood guarantee, and to thank the College of Policing for working with us on the new performance framework that will increase standards and training and professionalism. That's the partnership approach we're taking nationally. It's the same partnership approach we want to embed in neighbourhood policing locally. That's the building block of good policing across the country, and it's how we deliver safer streets. So with that, let me introduce the Prime Minister, who has made it the mission of this government to restore neighbourhood policing and make our streets safe again. Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, Yvette. Thank you, Chief Constable. And thank you to all of you here for being here this afternoon and for stepping up every day to keep our communities safe. And the Chief Constable's been telling me some of the ways in which you're doing that here in Cambridgeshire, particularly the way you're working with youth workers. And I'm really interested to take that and see whether that will work elsewhere. So what you're doing day in, day out, stepping up, that deserves our thanks. But it deserves more than our thanks. It deserves our support so that you can do the jobs that we're asking you to do and do them well. And that, in a sense, is what today is all about. Under the last government, as Yvette has just said, neighbourhood policing was decimated. And it became a postcode lottery where the address of an individual determined what sort of service that they got. And the proportion of people who saw a uniformed officer in their local area was halved in the last decade, halved. And the result, crime soaring in our town centres and public confidence in policing going down. And that must be soul destroying for you, doing what we're asking you to do and life being made much harder to do it. And it affects you, it affects us, and it affects all of our communities. And when I think about antisocial behaviour, I think about the teenage girls that I met in a college in Stoke-on-Trent. And I asked them how they felt, how safe they felt. I expected them to tell me they felt safe after dark or in certain circumstances, and they told me that they didn't feel safe walking down their own high street in broad daylight because they thought they were going to get harassed. And these were girls, young women, between about the age of 18 and 20. I think of the family in my constituency came to see me in my surgery, who said that every night cannabis smoke comes up from the streets and the corridors in their block into the rooms of their children through the windows. And I'm sure you've all heard this, but all of my career, whether as a lawyer, a prosecutor or a politician, people have said to me, antisocial behaviour, Keir, it's low-level crime. Well, it isn't. It really affects individuals, their families and their communities, and inhibits what they can do. So that's why we've got to end this culture of crime that is destroying our communities. Now, last year we announced an extra £1 billion in funding, including an additional 200 million specifically on neighbourhood policing. And we're introducing tough new respect orders to crack down on antisocial behaviour, because I want you to have the tools that you need to do the job that we ask you to do. And with our neighbourhood policing guarantee, we'll deliver 13,000 new neighbourhood officers by 2029. And today I can announce the first step, 3,000 new neighbourhood officers by the start of next year. All of them visible, on the beat, and serving their communities. Not stuck behind a desk or taken away to plug shortages from elsewhere. And from this July, so just a few months' time, every neighbourhood will have a named contactable officer. They'll have guaranteed police patrols in town centres and hotspots, particularly at peak times like Friday and Saturday nights. And people will be able to go online and measure how their local neighbourhood team is performing. And there'll be a range of ways for local residents and businesses to raise their concerns and to demand change from their neighbourhood policing team. So these major reforms will help us prevent crime in the first place, because that's the way that you do your work, to tackle it when it happens, and to stop it from spiralling. A transformation in neighbourhood policing that will transform our communities. A manifesto commitment being delivered. This is at the heart of our plan for change. I worked as Chief Prosecutor to keep our streets safe, and I'll do the same as Prime Minister. That's what the neighbourhood policing guarantee is all about. Police back on the beat where they belong, restoring pride and confidence in our communities, and rewriting the social contract to restore safety and security to our streets. That's the change that working people voted for in July, and the change that this government is delivering. Thank you again for everything that you do. Thank you very much. I'm now going to do some media, and then I'm going to come back and talk to you, which is what I most want to do. But